Okay.
Is, what's the difference between Scrum and Kanban? When would we use Scrum, or sorry, Kanban over Scrum?
Yeah, so good question. So Scrum, the differences between Scrum and Kanban, actually, we have a really good guide that we just got released on our website, Patrick, on the Kanban, right? And at the bottom, it has a table for the differences between Kanban and Scrum. Maybe we can send that link out after this. And basically, the idea is with Kanban, there's a few things. You have identified roles in your Scrum Master, your product owner, and your development team. Kanban does not have identified roles. And you also have specific ceremonies in Scrum. Your time boxed sprint, which is usually 2 weeks. So you're time boxing different iterations of planned work. And then you do your review, you do your daily stand-up. So it's very defined that way, as well as the individual artifacts. So you have like a product backlog, you build your sprint backlog for your individual sprints. So it's much more it's a much more process-centric framework, and it has a lot of different attributes that Kanban does not have. Why I like Kanban is because it's representing my process, and I'm steadily flowing work through it, and I can release on demand. I can release whenever I feel is the appropriate time to release, where with Scrum, you typically don't release until the end of an individual sprint or that 2-week time box. There's also an option, though, to answer a little further the question, there's also an option where you can do what's called Scrumban, where you can use the Kanban flavor of a pull system and whatnot, and just the flow itself. And then you can also utilize the good stuff in Scrum, which are the ceremonies, the roles, and the artifacts, or the artifacts. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, Ivan. This is Akila. I asked that question. Thank you. That helps. The other question I have is like you mentioned, right? In Kanban, we don't have cadence, regular cadence like 2 weeks or 4 weeks sprint. But is there a specific scenario we should be using Kanban? Like if we are not delivering or doing frequent releases, that's when we will be using that's when we should be using Kanban versus Scrum?
I wouldn't say that, because you still want to release value as quickly as you can with Kanban. I guess what I'm saying, that I would use Kanban, like I use it with my hardware companies, my hardware engineering companies, or my software companies that are doing security-based software, and there's no way they can get like a working piece of software done by the end of a 2-week or a 4-week sprint. So they just want to work on these features over a longer period of time and then release when ready. So they can leverage something like Kanban. I wouldn't limit it to just that. Also, Kanban is just a different way of working that some people prefer over the more like structured time boxed Scrum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. That helps.
Sure.
I've made it so everybody can self-unmute, I think, if you have a question. Hopefully I've done that properly.
Guess no other questions.
Sure, everybody?
All right.
Really sure? Because usually we've been holding steady with the number of attendees. Usually once the demo's over, people flee. No other questions? Okay. Cool. Oh, wait, hold on. Q&A came in. Maybe I didn't allow people on chat or to be able to speak. Are there any valuable Kanban specific certifications we should aspire for? Any suggestions?
I wouldn't say aspire for. There are Kanban professional certs through Kanban University. Another organization that I actually really like what they're doing with Kanban is called prokanban.org, and they have a certification as well. that from what I understand is it's more, that one has an like a pretty large written exam as opposed to some of the other certs where you go to like a 2-day class and you get a cert. So it's not like your certified Scrum Master where you would go out and get a highly aspired for certification.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? You could just come off mute and ask.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm curious, I see you're doing a lot with custom charting. I'm wondering if this is just because you're in the cloud, or would you say the data center server version would allow you to do the same type of custom charting?
Yeah, so that add-on custom charts for Jira, it's in the marketplace,
okay.
and it's available for all platforms.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
And I mean, I'm not saying this. I mean, we're a partner of theirs, but I'm not. I would never promote an app unless I really like it and like using it. And their development team is very responsive as well, so they're good.
Okay, great. Yeah, I love what you've done with yours. So I certainly, I'm using the Jira. We're moving to Jira actually on Monday, and I'll be standing up some Kanban teams. So of course, yeah. So I was worried about the ability to be as customizable as, say, like, not to bring up competitors, but like Plainview and Kanbanize and those places. But I love what you've done, so it's good to know. Yeah,
thanks. And all the stuff I showed you today was on a cloud instance, but it's all, you can do every bit of what I showed you in server and data center.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. I see Kevin is off mute. Do you have any question, Kevin? Let me call you out.
Ivan, sorry, this is Akila. Another question. You mentioned that the differences, what you explained, also exist in your website.
Yeah, so we just released like an article about Kanban, and includes the differences. Patrick, we'll just send that out to the attendees after.
We will.
Right?
Yes, we'll send that out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Well, it's good. We got some questions.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have my contact information, so if other things come up in the back of your head, send them over my way. I'll connect Evan with you. And
could I ask one more question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Sorry. I wanted to find out. I noticed again. Did you show actual? You showed your Kanban board, didn't you? The actual Kanban board, or did you? Okay, I remember seeing the backlog, but maybe I didn't. I missed for some reason the actual Kanban board.
Yeah,
because I was wondering. I don't think, does Jira have any ability to do cross horizontal or splitting of the columns? It looks like, I don't think they do, but it looks like you've kind of made use of the components and other things to make it still work for you. So I was just curious if if they do have that ability. I noticed, I wasn't sure, so that's what I'm asking.
Sure. Are you talking about swim lanes?
Well, like, yeah, swim lanes, being able to split the swim lane, like doing, or yeah, I was curious.
Yeah, so I'm using swim lanes right here by
okay, so you're kind of splitting them horizontally as opposed to like having a vertical column and splitting that vertically down the middle. Okay.
Well, I have vertical columns that are representing my workflow.
Right.
So I have drag and drop items, but I'm also breaking them down in swim lanes by class of service.
Okay, gotcha.
But you can do it by anything. You can do it by any search query you want. You can create a swim lane.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Yep. Good stuff.
Hi, this is Renu. Sorry, I didn't understand this minimum and max feature that you are representing over here. What does exactly that mean over there?
Yeah, good question. So basically in your configuration under columns, the minimum and maximum is representing your appropriate work in progress per status, right? So if I'm in development, I want to have at least one item in development. If I have less than one, it's going to turn yellow, the column. And I don't want to have any more. I'm controlling my work in progress by saying I don't want any more than 4. And the second I put more than 4 cards in there, it turns red.
Okay, so this is basically controlling your progress. Okay, got it.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you.
How are you accounting for blockers? Or are you accounting for blockers? And is that waiting or?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
using the waiting status for that.
Okay.
Yeah, there are other ways to do it. Like you could have like a field
Right.
label or
Yeah.
something. You could
Okay.
color the card through the configurations that's blocked. So
Gotcha.
a
Yeah.
lot of ways to do it.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Sure.